Welcome back, Kings and Ducks fans, to Royally Quacked, where, of course, I'm Royal, and I should say they're quacked.
Yeah, so joining us today, we have Locked On Ducks host Kyle Kjer, who thankfully had me on a couple weeks ago, and that was such a blast. But welcome to Royally Quacked, Kyle.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Glad to get locked in and locked on with you guys today.
That's awesome. Thanks for being here, Kyle. Like I said, we kind of spoke a little bit before we started today about what a great intro he did for Cody when Cody was on his podcast a little over a week ago. That was awesome. I was a very proud papa. I was just ready to tell you.
Just doing what I can to make the dads happy out there.
Yeah, well, you did a great job, and we appreciate it. I mean,
thank you.
The nice thing is we're all podcasters, and we all love hockey. Yeah. So
best sport in the world.
Best sport
Amen
in the world.
to that. Amen to that.
All right. Are we ready to get into team news right now?
Yeah.
There's been a lot.
You guys want to start with Duck news?
Yeah, we'll start. I think this was supposed to be on last week's podcast, but I think I forgot to put in the notes. But the Anaheim Ducks have improved in Cronin's second season, and he seems to have eased up a bit after being a bit of a taskmaster in year one, which graded some players. All things being equal, I think Ducks GM Pat Verbeek is good with Cronin coming back next season, and that's per Pierre LeBrun.
Well, here's a key question, Cody. Are you okay with it?
No.
Because for a while there, you were not a happy Duck fan.
Oh, to be honest,
what do you think about that, Kyle?
I mean, really, it's been a difficult roller coaster with him to take a team that was pretty much just scratching by for scraps to now having conversations about possibly being in the wild card up until this last week. It's definitely an improvement. Cronin, it's hard to tell because you can sort of see it in games. I talked about this on my last episode. Like, he gets the team up into a certain positive space, but it feels like he doesn't have the right things to say in the intermissions and in between periods when they're down, because they just kind of come out looking even more defeated. Like, they just got lectured by their dad for 10 and for the 20 minutes, and nothing actual positive came out of the conversation. So it's hard because I see the positives out of his career, but I also feel like at least the supporting staff needs to go with the special teams and power play units.
Yeah, well, we both have problems with power play units.
Not as bad as the Ducks. I don't even. Last time I looked, they were almost last. The last time I looked,
they've been scraping the bottom for. I think Sharks are a little worse.
No, it's the Islanders, I believe.
Or Islanders, okay.
Yeah, but we hired Brown from you guys.
Oh, that's your fault for hiring Newell Brown.
I mean, and if you listen to any of our podcasts from last year, the most hated Duck ever is Newell Brown. I mean, Cody hated him. Let's get rid of this guy, and we hired him. I'm wondering what happened there. So,
yeah,
he moved to El Segundo.
Oh God, I'm so glad he's bye. So, next bit of news is Ian Moore and the Norwegian Nightmare himself, Stan Solberg, both get their first career AHL goals this last week. And I believe they both scored in this. Was it the same game too?
Yeah, I believe it was the same game. And then they've also just been lighting up the offense, which ironically they're both defensemen, but they're like Ian Moore has 5 points in 7 games, and Solberg has 4 in 7 games. So they're putting in the effort out there in the D.
Are they? I haven't really looked as much into it. Are they a pair?
No, they had, the last I checked, they had Solberg with Leno.
Okay. Oh, okay.
That might have been just on the power play units, but I'm pretty sure he's paired up with Leno.
Okay. Because I know Moore is a right-handed shot, and Stan is a left-handed shot defenseman. So that's why I was like, okay, maybe they could be a pair, but Leno and Solberg. Ooh, okay. I gotta see if I can watch one of these games. That's an interesting.
It's hard.
The
Flow Sports is so expensive.
Oh, I know.
Are the Ducks like the defensive prospect kings of hockey right now? I mean, they have all those young guys that have just come up, and then they got 2 more guys down in the AHL ready.
Well,
I mean, they're looking like they're getting ready.
I think we got more than just Leno and Solberg and more down there. I think we got Warren. If he probably just needs 1 or 2 more years down in the AHL, and I think he can be something because he's a big guy too. Oh God, what was the other guy's name? Tyson Hines would be a good defensive defenseman if we ever need someone like that too.
Yeah,
what worries me with the Ducks though is we've had so many good defensive prospects, and then we develop them, and they become amazing defenders, and then we trade them. Like Brandon Montour, Cam Fowler, just to name a few.
Well, Fowler wasn't going to be doing much. I think the coaching wasn't the right thing for him in Anaheim. But look, if you get the right coach, look how much better a player can look. Like just Exhibit A, Cam Fowler with Jim Montgomery in St. Louis. Like Cam Fowler's like it's like I've never seen this Cam Fowler before.
Oh yeah.
Well, Cronin's no Montgomery, that's for sure.
God, no,
not even
obviously.
I mean, maybe a tinge of a fingernail. That's
so
about it.
I got a question for you guys. Is Boston the worst team at firing the best coach? Are they just love to fire the best coaches, don't they?
The general management staff in Boston, they're like my second favorite team. I have the bear over here from when I was the 8 spoke salute to service member with them, and I don't know what is going on in that general office, but yeah, they just love to get rid of coaches that get picked up. It's like same with players. Like it's like they get rid of them, they leave Boston, all of a sudden they become a Stanley Cup champion again.
Yeah, I was listening to the Jeff Merrick show. It was either Thursday's episode or yesterday's episode, and they were talking about this. And apparently, like there was a coach they had I want to say in the 60s or 70s. In 208 games, he had I want to say the second or third highest winning percentage of all time. And they just I think he lost in the first round his first year, won the Stanley Cup the second year, got them to the playoffs that year, and they just fired him for no reason. And then he was just never hired again. But he had the best winning percentage, I think, that had over 200 games. I was like, and then you have Bruce Cassidy. Now you got Jim Montgomery. I'm like, what are we doing here, Boston?
Now they didn't even have their team. They traded them all away for second round draft picks.
Yeah, they're gonna be minimally retooling seriously or total rebuild.
Yeah.
So
all right, next bit of Ducks news. Leo Carlsson becomes the first player aged 20 or younger in Ducks history with a 20-goal season. The next closest is Hall of Famer, and his jersey is up in the Raptors, is Paul Kariya with 18 goals in 1994-95. It's pretty good company.
Pretty decent. Yeah. Definitely someone who everyone knows out in Anaheim. That Leo can beat that at this age, and he's still got more games to play. Is pretty awesome. He's been a tear since the Four Nations tournament.
Yeah, we have a comment on our Instagram live. Daniel the Messiah says wild card is a must next year for the Ducks. I would say I don't know if a must, but at least
they're close already.
Well,
they're close already.
Yes and no, but I would say next year I want to be a second wild card. I think if we can at least be right there to the very end, I think I would say an improvement already. Because honestly, I wasn't even expecting the Ducks to be this close this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've played a lot better than last year.
Yes and no.
Looking at the way
everybody has ups and downs, Cody. Everybody has them. and they've had they have looked horrible. I can remember you just like, I don't even want to talk about this game. I don't want to talk about it.
That was every St.
Do I
Louis
have to
game this
talk
year.
about the game?
That was literally every St. Louis game this season. I'm like, I don't want to talk about this game.
Look at what St. Louis is doing, though, dude.
No, okay. This is before what St. Louis is doing now. Every time the Ducks play St. Louis, it's like we become a peewee team.
Yeah, we haven't beat them since 2021.
Yeah.
Vegas is tanking so they don't have to play St. Louis.
Are they really?
The Kings are only 3 points down right now with seven games to go.
Edmonton's hunting you guys too, though. They're only 2 points.
We play them today, and they don't have their stars. Watch us lose to them, but
I would say that's what I hate to make excuses, but I think that's why I lost the semifinal to Eric in fantasy hockey, because I didn't have Leon Draisaitl those whole 2 weeks, except for the last on that Saturday. He said he wasn't coming back, and then he plays and gets 12 points, and I could have used those 12 points because I lost by. Because get this, Kyle, I lost by what, 2.5 points.
Ooh,
yeah. I am probably, over the last 7 years we've done this, I'm probably the best, but he had the best team this year. I thought he was going to win it. I mean, I told him you got to beat Eric, who's a good friend of ours. He's been on the podcast as a co-host too. And
he's a cheater though. He has Hall of Famers helping him out.
That's true. Yeah.
He literally has Chris Chelios, Ed Belford, Dominic Hasek all helping him with this team, I believe.
Oh my gosh, just for fantasy?
Yep. Mark Recchi. Well, he does sport. Yeah. Eric, we're giving you a little advertising. Sports memorabilia. He does sports memorabilia. Sends us pictures all the time of who he gets to meet. And I tell him how jealous I am, and then he goes, "I'm jealous. You get to do a hockey podcast with your son." And I go, "You know what? Maybe I do win on that one, because I do. I mean, I do love doing this. I mean, it's so much fun, and we've got to expand our horizons. Having like you and Eddie on our show, and then you also having Cody on your show. So,
which was, like I said, just." I've been listening to the Locked On Ducks for years, and when you asked me, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I was like, "Oh my god, yes."
Well, at least you got to get that over before you went on.
Yeah,
I got hit with it that morning as we were going on.
Yeah, that's true.
And you could definitely tell I was affected. You know?
Wasn't one of your best intros last week.
It was the worst intro ever.
Yeah.
Probably like me when I finally got to get my interview in with Alex Killorn.
Oh, that was
There's like 7 people in the lobby watching, and you're like, who are y'all people?
Yeah. When you told, when I saw that, I'm like, that is so cool.
The key thing I think is, I mean, I am the oldest person here, is you just got to be yourself. Don't worry about anybody else. Who cares? And if they don't like it, you just go own it, ask the questions, be real with them, and they'll probably love you for it. And I think you already do that. So
thank you.
Every time I've heard you, you've been excellent. So why wouldn't you be excellent right there?
Yeah.
Gotta just keep putting the best foot forward, I guess.
I mean, if I have time to prepare, I mean, I kind of knew you were probably going to be on today, so it was a little easier this time.
Not just getting surprised.
Well, I got my introduction to you on listening to you with Cody, and I used to listen to JD. I have no idea what happened to him.
I don't know either.
He did a good job, but I think you're doing a fantastic job. And God bless the Ducks. They got people like you, putting on a podcast, telling their fans what they need to hear. So
it's good. It's fun. It's definitely a awesome gig, and I love that I get to talk about one of my favorite team and my favorite sport, and get to meet fine gentlemen like you, and get to reach out, and like I have fans already that they were fans of the show, and they keep tweeting me and stuff like, "Thank you for saving Locked On Ducks." Like, we were scared there for a while, and so it's just
That's how
nice
I
to
felt. That's
come
exactly.
in.
I was because I was about literally like to message like, "Are you guys ever gonna have a Locked On Ducks?" Like we're in middle of the season and we didn't have an episode for what 4-5 months. I was like, "What's going on?" And all of a sudden, I got a notification from Locked On Ducks like, "Oh, new episodes out." I'm like, "Well, it's probably one of those squad cast ones again." And then it was yours. I was like, "Oh!" And I listened to it. And then that's when I messaged you. I was like, "Hey, man, congrats!" You know, I was like, "Thank God it's back." I did
Thank you.
miss it.
It's
So
good to be back. It's good to be
yeah,
back.
The whole locked on thing is just so huge. And the amazing thing is how many people still don't know about it.
Mhm.
Like
I
I
was surprised how many people actually did know about it, because I was one of the people who didn't really know until I got connected with it. But when I brought it up with a few of my groups of friends and stuff, like, there's people like, "Oh yeah, I listened to Locked On this or Locked On that," and I was like, "Oh, now I'm kind of intimidated more."
well, you're doing a great job, Kyle.
Thank you, guys.
We want to build you up and keep you going because hockey is the sport that everybody should love.
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely.
I mean,
Especially in SoCal.
it's
Agreed.
well, SoCal is the weirdest spot to have the sport,
Is it the
but
weirdest?
when you think about it, yeah, we don't have any too much ice around to go skating like they do in back
Florida?
east or
Not cheap, at
Minnesota
least.
I
or
was like,
Canada.
Florida, Texas. I mean, those are all kind of.
Well, yeah, well, the Kings kind of started the California whole thing, so
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, but
Kyle, you were at the Carolina Ducks game, right?
Yes, unfortunately.
So a close friend of ours who's been on the podcast a few times with us, he was actually the hero of the game that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Nice.
Adam,
Adam Broll. Yeah,
Okay.
because I
Yeah,
told
that was
when I saw him posted, I was like, bro, I would have gone to the game if you would have told me. Because like I said, he's like I said, close friend. You know, we love having him on. He talks crap to me and my dad. Like he's a Ducks fan. He'll talk crap to both of us. So
that's how you know
he's
they're a good friend.
yes, exactly.
brutally honest with us, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
But yeah, and I was like, what? I would have gone to the game to support him for that and
That's so
everything
cool.
because
The world gets so much smaller out here.
he's the captain of they call Patriots hockey. It's like a veterans hockey club.
Yeah, I know all about the Patriots hockey. I played for the Guardians hockey club,
Oh, well,
and
you
I
probably
take
played
it.
against Adam.
yeah, there's some beef
Oh,
between those two organizations, and
Ooh.
I love like majority of the guys on the Guardians program. Love those guys. There's a lot of good people that play for that team. But that's all I'm gonna say.
Well,
I think we should probably
back to Duck news.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
we should finish this.
Meanwhile, back in
Oh,
Anaheim,
we had all these great things, and now I'm gonna say some sad news. But
Yeah.
for the 7th consecutive season, the Anaheim Ducks have been eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. I agreed, but I think we all knew this 7th consecutive season was coming before the season even started.
yeah, I heard all these boos on one side, and I heard all these on the other side. Eddie talked about it on Locked On Kings the other day. He talked about it. Ducks got eliminated.
You can hear the cheers from up the 5.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is back shortly after we won the Stanley Cups and stuff, when we started going downhill and not making the playoffs, I'm sure the Duck fans are doing the same thing back to the Kings. Hey, we're in and you're out. But I
Well,
don't
we
think
got so lucky with how many playoffs we were in. We got, I think, 9 out of 11 years we were in the playoffs, and so it was due to come eventually. I think it's taking a little bit longer than expected, especially with how beautiful it is to be out here, and like Alex Clorne said, it's the best place to play, and even guys not even on the team think it is. Like, everyone loves coming out and stopping at Newport when they visit and play us and stuff. And you would think it would attract a little bit more talent and get guys out here, but I think Murray kind of dug us into a hole, and now Verbeek's been trying to build us out.
He put us in a huge hole.
Well, I got to tell you right now, the team is far more attractive this year to be able to go into the offseason looking for some scoring help, which almost every team needs. I think the Ducks are going to have some success this year because, I look at Carlsson and I'm seeing, they may have won that because he doesn't let anything bother him. I mean, Bedard's 2 game misconducts because he got upset about how everything was going.
Well,
I
think one was like mouthing to the referee, and I think the other one was like a fight in a way, but back to back games though.
Yeah, he lost his cool. Carlsson is a very cool customer, and I'm a Kings fan, I'm looking. I go, he's gonna be scary. I can see him and Byfield battling it out for the next 10 to 15 years, and it's gonna be a severe battle because they're both two very talented players.
And people
Byfield has stepped up crazy.
Yeah, people were saying that Carlson's speed wasn't. I'm like, dude, he's blowing by people right now, though. I'm like, how are people not saying he has speed? I'm like, I'm seeing, and he's zooming through the neutral zone, and I'm like, wow, he's quicker than I think everyone expected.
I can tell you why, Cody, because he doesn't do it with a lot of flair. He just does it.
Yeah,
he's just there.
I mean, you got the guys. I mean, Zegras, flair. I mean, woo.
With his feet out here.
Whatever.
The widest stance I've ever seen.
But I mean, Carlsson just goes out and does the job. So, and Byfield's starting to do that. And to me, he's scary. He's the key for the Kings to get past the first round. He's the key. So, we'll see.
All right,
absolutely.
Let's go on to better news after your bad news.
Yeah,
go on to better news.
All right. So last bit of news is the Ducks are just calling up all their prospects for San Diego now. The Ducks have assigned goaltender Damian Clara to San Diego Gulls. Clara, who's 20 years old, he split time in Sweden and Finland this last season, going 9-10-0 with an .879 save percentage with Farsted BK in the SHL, and 3-7-0 with a .910 save percentage with Karpat in Liga. That's in Finland. Because I believe Gibson is hurt again. And I think
lower body.
Yeah, lower body, because someone else ran into him again. So now Husso's back up with the Ducks, and that's why Clara, I believe, is with the Gulls. So,
and I mean, Clara, he played really well in his first game. Looking at his record there with a 3-7-0, but a 910 save percentage, he looks like the next mini Gibson. Clearly, the team in Liga cannot score, but he saved a lot of pucks. He got put into the game against Iowa Wild on Friday.
He did. Oh, he played already.
Yeah, Dance got lit up. The Wild scored 3 goals in 2 minutes in the first period. It was from the 5-minute and 30-second mark to the 7-minute and 30-second mark of the game. The Wild scored 3 goals, so they pulled Dansk, and then Clara stopped 22 out of 23 shots the rest of the game.
Oh, okay, that's good to hear then.
Yeah, so unfortunate way to get entered into the game, but he kept him in it. The goals tried to come back. They got close to 3-2, but then he got scored on finally. So, and the goals just, I don't know what was going on with them. They were not playing well.
They have their moments too, and we do have a Facebook comment. Frankie Cruz Jr., look at my boys. So, Kyle, here's a backstory with Frankie. We love Frankie here, and he's trying to convince me and my dad to become Yankee fans.
Oh,
he's trying.
Go Sox.
Oh, it was funny because he hit me up last week because we have a fantasy baseball on our network, and he's like, I need my captain because I had Aaron Judge on my team. He's like, what's gonna take? And I'm like, and I was like, I was gonna mess with him. I was like, I don't know, having Aaron Judge on my team is making me like the Yankees a little bit more. He said,
Definitely gotta love the
Wait, he
Judge.
said White Sox or Red Sox?
Red Sox, of
Oh,
course.
Red Sox. Ooh,
The only Sox that matter.
You heard the accent right there, Frankie. That matter. There is no R's in Boston.
Never.
So Frankie, Cody was nice. I had another player we wanted for Judge, and he didn't put him in the trade. I just want you to know, I was looking for more. I mean, he had like 59 points that day that you wanted him. He hit those 3 homers, dude.
Yeah. But here's Frankie. Don't matter the color; they are all dirty.
Oh,
God, I love you, Frankie.
you
All right,
you East Coast guys.
All right, let's
They'll
move
tell you
on.
how it is.
Let's move on to Kings news. Finally,
So Kings news. I'm going to be talking about the young guys. There's no big Kings, really big Kings news because Turcotte and is out probably day to day still, but it looks like Jeannot is out for a while longer. So, but Mlott's been picking up where Jeannot left off, so we haven't totally missed him. But anyways, we had a couple signings. The Kings signed defenseman Otto Salin to a 3-year ELC, and they also signed Kenny Connors to a 2-year ELC. And then an update on Liam Greentree and games played this season in the OHL with the Windsor Spitfires. He has 49 goals, 70 assists for 119 points, and he's a plus 55. And they were terrible last year, the Windsor Spitfires.
yeah,
They're
were
really
bad.
good. Yeah,
bad.
he's got a guy that's was even with him at 119 on their team.
Wow.
I mean, so obviously they've drafted well this year. But the last bit of news is we have freshman goalie prospect Hampton Slukinski has led Western Michigan. I'm terrible with hockey names, by the way, Kyle. If you hadn't figured that one out, has led Western Michigan to the Frozen Four.
True.
And we do have also Jack Hughes on Boston. I think Boston College.
Yeah,
the other Jack Hughes.
Yeah, the other Jack, not the Jack Hughes from New Jersey. He wouldn't be in Frozen Four this year.
I saw some meme on Twitter, and someone's like, New Jersey has the opportunity to do something hilarious right now because it was right after Jack got hurt, and then the Kings announced they weren't going to sign him yet, and they're like, "Come on, bring him over to Jersey."
Yeah, they're probably not going to sign him.
Can you imagine if they got both Jack Hughes and Quinn went over to New Jersey? That's a whole lot of Hughes.
Well, it's like the Vancouver Canucks are now the Vancouver Pedersons.
Oh God, yeah, and 2 of them are named Elias too.
Yeah.
Wait, is the Kings Jack Hughes? Is he a forward or a defenseman?
Forward.
Okay, that would have been funny if there would have been one forward, one defenseman, like the Elias Pettersson kind of thing.
Yeah, just not as good as the other Jack Hughes.
Yeah.
I think a lot of GMs have been noticing that these college kids, if they go for another year, they end up coming back more solid of a player and a person. Like I was listening to the newest Spit and Chicklets, and they had the GM from the Blues, Armstrong, and he was talking about one of their players that decided on their own to go back to college.
It was Snuggerud.
Yeah, and he came back and he said when he went to pick him up, he was like, I wasn't talking to a kid anymore. Like he was like a legit man. Like his maturity level and the way he was like talking about the game and the way he looked at his career now was more of a like professional. And so I think a lot of these GMs are trying to push like go to college as long as you need, and then we can bring you up. Well,
hockey players are like wine. You age them a little bit and they taste it and they play a whole lot better.
Mm-hmm. that 20-something-year-olds, that's that sweet spot, like Jackson Lacombe this year, 23 and tearing it up.
He has been tearing that up. Very
Oh,
impressed
yeah.
with Jackson Lacombe. So,
Are
do we
we
want to
ready?
go on to league news?
Let's go to league news. All right. For the
League
second
news.
consecutive season, the Seattle Kraken have been eliminated from the Stanley Cup
Yeah.
playoffs.
Yay!
Wah, wah, wah. They are not the Golden Knights.
Yeah. Even though
Colorado's thankful.
true. I mean, and talk about someone else that spent quite a bit of money this last offseason and looked not as good.
Yeah, they got Stevenson
They picked
Stevenson
up Brandon Montour as
and
well.
Montour.
and Montour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Montour hasn't had the year he was like he did with Florida.
So
No.
there's 5 teams that have been eliminated from playoffs, and not one of them is on the East Coast.
The East Coast is crazy. It's like I'm like I fall in that bubble of like I don't know if I'm more happy that we're eliminated now with some games to play and we just get to watch the Ducks play spoiler, or would I be even more mad if it was like game 82 and that's the one that decides the wild card for us or not? You know what I mean? Like it's that heartbreak and headache of like trying to go until game 82 to hope your team is in is just terrifying to me.
Yeah, so the Ducks are 6th in the whole wild card. So you have St. Louis overtook Minnesota in the wild card. Then you have Flames, Vancouver, Utah, then Ducks. So the Ducks are 6th, and they have 74 points. And in the East, they would still be in the wild card conversation because Boston has 69, Buffalo has 70, Philly has 71, Pittsburgh has 72, and none of them have been eliminated yet.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So
on to more news. The National Hockey League and Rogers have reached an agreement on a 12-year Canadian television deal worth $11 billion. That's in Canadian dollars, 7.7 US, as reported by Sportico. This groundbreaking agreement will commence the 2026-2027 season. Notably, it surpasses the previous 12-year deal between the two parties by more than double its value.
That's the cash.
That's how big hockey is getting.
Yeah.
And that's just the Canadian contract. That's
the Canadian contract.
US to come up in a couple years, and I can only imagine with how TNT's been doing, and I mean ESPN's been okay. It's nice having the ESPN Plus ability to watch pretty much every other game.
Yeah.
But TNT's been just straight killing it. I love their broadcasts.
Oh, say I haven't been really much on the TNT stuff. ESPN is I would say, but I don't know, Vic, I've just been on because I only really watch the Ducks right now, and everything's been on the Victory Plus, and I would say there's the only downside in which I agreed with your last podcast this week was how bad the broadcast has been for the Ducks side this year. Hayward is just saying he's just saying names that are there and they're not there. I feel like
John Hollis dropped at least 5 factual things that were not even close to correct on the game that before I did that broadcast, because I was just watching it and I was like, he was saying the wrong schools for players. He called Dostal Lacombe and Lacombe Dostal. Like he kept mixing stuff up, and I'm like, and that's not the only game he's been doing it.
Hayward's been he's like, oh, this guy. He was like, oh, Lacombe has. I'm like, dude, that's Gudis. That's not Lacombe. like how do you know? There's a beard. Like the beard goes down to here, for God's sakes. Lacombe has nothing.
Well, I don't watch him as much as I listen to him because I'll listen to believe me, if I am home, I will watch the Ducks on Victory Plus, but I listen to him. Emerson Edom needs to stay off the coffee. He's drinking way too much caffeine.
I hate his ad reads so much.
You already got
Steve Carroll.
Steve Carroll he's high energy, and you used to have Dan Wood and with that calm, collected. I miss
Dan Wood.
I miss him.
Hope he's doing well.
Not that Edom doesn't give good facts, but then he tries to do the commercial. He tries to do a 12-second commercial in 6 seconds.
It's a holy guacamole power play. We're going to do this, guys. Holy guacamole power play. All right, thank you, guys.
I mean, like he does because what it tells me from doing like radio and play-by-play while I was at school, it tells me that the producer's in his ear and he gets flustered and they're like, hey, you have this much time, and he like panics, and so he goes really fast. Like he'll do the line read, he's like, and your starting lineups are blah 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 blah, and then and you're like, who?
Yeah.
Like what?
I miss Dan Wood. I go, but not to change the subject just a little bit, but the Kings are losing a voice that's been there for 44 years, and Nick Nixon.
Yeah.
He's going to be tough to replace. I mean, man, I could tell you, I probably listened to Nick Nixon more than anybody else about hockey games, and he always does a great job. So
very iconic voice.
They have that kid that's doing the radio most of the time. Josh Schaefer. He's not bad. He's not bad. But man, it's not Nick's voice.
Yeah.
It's like me against Eddie. No comparison.
Hey, you still got a good voice though.
Well, we're saying that, but
so
I mean, Eddie.
When my dad was in Texas, my sister has a friend. His name is Josh. And he's a Carolina Hurricanes fan. So my dad had to use the bathroom. So I was like, oh, bring Josh on. I'll talk to him. Man, did that guy have a voice too? Oh man. I was like, dude, he has a great voice.
My daughter whispered in my ear, hey, you could get Josh on. And I go, sure. I mean, it's all in fun anyways. It's to me that I look forward to this every Saturday because it's fun. And I get to do it with my son. So I go, sure, I'll go to the bathroom. And I did, but it wasn't like I had to. And he went on for what, 10 or 15 minutes?
5 to 10.
I mean, you talk another golden voice. Him and Eddie could compete. They really could compete.
They could talk about they could talk about completely just random crap, and I would listen to it every week.
Yeah.
just hearing both their voices, I'm like, it's just like soothing. I could probably fall asleep to it.
Yeah, like that's kind of like Stephen Fry, the totally not hockey related, but he does like he used to do all the documentaries that we had to watch in high school, and like that were just super slow, and he's got like the British accent. That's what I use to go to sleep because it's just one of those voices. It's like, I don't know how he does it, but it's like you're just getting soothed right to sleep.
All right, so let's go back to league news. The Capitals have signed forward Ryan Leonard to a 3-year entry-level contract, and I think that one was long overdue.
And he's already scored a goal.
And he scored an empty netter.
Got the
empty netter.
Yeah, he scored a goal though.
You want to know how? You want to know why he got the empty netter?
Poor have kids. Mr. Sharp used to say in history class to me, "The rich get richer and the poor have kids." Capitals got richer.
Mm-hmm. He looks like he's going to be something, man.
He is something.
And then
he's already thrown the body out there.
Yeah, him and
he's a physical
went at
player. He's a physical player. It's the way he plays.
Yeah.
What a great. I mean, great for the Capitals. Who wouldn't want Ryan Leonard on their team, though? I would definitely make room for him on the Kings.
I think every team would love to have a Ryan Leonard in their system.
Well, it's not only great for them; it's great for U.S. hockey. Like to get these kids finally coming in, and they've been just killing it with World Juniors, and everyone's been waiting to see these guys enter the league, and now it's just that many more guys from USA Hockey that are starting to set the bar, and it's just exciting for all the young kids out there to watch these guys and kind of have a legitimate sample size of kids that were American players and are now dominant in the NHL.
Well, I was watching the World Juniors, and the goalie was John Gibson, right? And I watched the game. I think they won. I think they won the championship that year. And I told Cody, I go, "Oh God, you guys have a future star, and he's been a star for him for quite a few years. Now his time is probably ending. I'm thinking because as Cody calls him, Dost Wall, I think it's going to take over. But I remember talking to him about it and telling him about you guys are going to have a great goalie for a while. I mean, he was impressive in juniors. So well, on to the news. Rangers sign forward Gabe Perreault to a 3-year entry-level contract. And now they really could need some help.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the first game he played in. He made this awesome pass to Lafreniere, and Lafreniere like basically fell over because he wasn't ready for it. And he straight up said afterwards, he's like, I should have watched more tape of this kid. I was not prepared for that.
Well, that's a compliment to Perreault.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Another American.
He's a playmaker. That's what he's going to be there for. He's a play. Now, is he a shooter too, or is he more of a playmaker?
He seems like he's more of a setup guy, but he definitely has a shot when he needs it.
Okay, that's what
it's kind of like Zegras.
Oh, okay, I got you. Next news: the Avalanche have signed forward Taylor Makar. That's right, the younger brother of superstar Cale Makar, to a 1-year entry-level contract that begins next season. Man, Avalanche is just getting all the Makars.
Well, if he's anything close to his brother, Makar might be the closest thing to Bobby Orr and Paul Coffey. I mean, two great scoring, probably the two best scoring defensemen in history.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kel Makar, he's the first defenseman to score 30+ goals since Mike Green. Does anybody remember Mike Green?
I
know the name, 2008, 2009. I don't remember that. I mean, he must not have been that fantastic, or he would have done it more than once.
Well, I think he had a flash in the pan season that year.
Possibly.
It was right after the Ducks won the cup. Well, 2 years after the Ducks won the cup, so I wasn't really paying attention, I guess.
Had to throw that in, didn't you, Kyle?
Yeah. The first cup of California.
Oh, that was the one thing my dad said. He was like, "Hey, that was great, but I heard that jab that you and Kyle did on Locked On."
And you know what? You know what the comeback to that is? We have two.
We have two.
Yeah.
We have two. Two's
I
better.
remember when we had to buy our cup too.
Ooh. All right, let's move on to the next news before a fight breaks out.
Yeah.
Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah
Lakers.
Hockey Club, he is donating $10 million to help build 20 new rinks in the state of Utah. I'm sorry, but this was a great move for hockey all around, bringing the hockey to Utah with Ryan Smith. Because
my question is, when are we moving to Utah and opening up a rink? Because I don't know if you saw how much he's given to each rink, and they're like pre-made plans and everything, and you just gotta take over running the place.
Yeah, it was like what 500?
I think like $500K to start it all up, and then like you get the plans. They want it to be like uniform style, so it's all pre-planned out. You just got to get the lot and property for it, and then manage it. And my friend actually sent me a thing, and basically it was saying like the money, like if you're trying to get financially involved in hockey, it's the rink management where the money's at, because with how much you're paying for ice time and all this stuff, like the surplus is insane. Like, and they use the rinks as an example. Like they've already paid out the cost of Great Park Ice within like the first 2 years of having the rink.
Wow, that's crazy. But that just shows you how bad the Arizona owner was before.
Well,
that guy.
If you do that, Kyle, you always can do your Ducks podcast from Utah.
Exactly. I just have to road trip.
I mean, I did our podcast. I was in Texas.
Exactly. I had to go do some family stuff with my at my mom's house, and I did my last week at her place. So that's the best thing about, podcasts and getting to do all this stuff remote. You can kind of be wherever.
Well, there's like a few locked on people where I know like they're not in the exact city of the team that they do. So
Yeah, there's somebody that's in a different state and does a podcast. I can't remember who it is though.
I can't remember her.
I'm not going to name names.
I know there's a couple,
right.
but
there's definitely a few.
Mom asked if I'm moving to Utah. No, I think I'd rather move to Washington than Utah. So, because Seattle was just so fun for us. So that was probably one of my favorite places to go that we've been to.
A lot safer driving in Washington than Utah. That's for sure.
Yeah, depending on the rain.
Yeah. Get run off the road in Utah if you're not driving 95 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Sounds like California.
So the last bit of league news is the Canadiens have signed goalie Jacob Fowler to a 3-year entry-level contract. I got to find a photo of Jacob Fowler because his mask is, I think, my favorite mask. Jacob.
It's really awesome that he finally got signed. It was kind of was he drafted by the Canadiens or was he non-drafted?
I think he was drafted.
Okay, because there's a couple goalies that are out in the NCAA tournament that were undrafted, and they definitely deserve to get picked up because they've been playing absolutely knockout hockey. It's been a really fun tournament. I'm excited for the next weekend of getting everybody out there.
I don't know if you guys can really see. I can't really zoom in. But that's his mask.
Ooh. Oh, it looks like Iron Man. That's why you like it.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it now.
I saw the picture. I was like, oh my god, he has Iron Man as his mask. Oh my, I'm rooting for him now.
Speaking of masks, do you know if Ville Husso still has the Red Wings mask or?
God, I hope not.
Well, I guess
that was it stuck out like a sore thumb.
They're playing
his pads too. Yeah, the Ducks play at 1:00.
The Kings and Ducks both play at 1:00 today.
I believe so. I think I put one.
Oh, I guess they do.
Yeah.
You haven't put your predictions
head to head.
I never do my predictions ahead of time. Okay, leave me alone. I never do. That's why I do everything else.
That's why we can't have nice things, Cody.
Hey, don't use my line against me. That's
too late. Line. I did.
My line.
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Thanks, Kyle.
It's like
I finally got a Duck guy on my side. At least for a second.
I'm
a dad, so I know how it is.
I got 2 lines, and you can't steal either of them. This is the reason why we can't have nice things, and don't tell me what to do with my life.
Well, when you're a parent, your kid ends up throwing like everything you've ever said to them back at you at some point, and you're like, "Don't you use my logic against me? Come on now."
I got one line that's just specific to my dad when he's like, you're such a smart ass. I'm like, well, it's better than being a dumbass.
He does say that all the time. I gotta quit calling him a smart ass or a dumbass.
It's like the perfect line. Better than being a dumbass.
Well, you forgot what your other one was.
No, I know. The one I always tell you, don't tell me how to live my life. You're the reason why we can't have nice things. And oh god, what was the other one? It makes sense if you don't think about it.
That was basically Greg Cronin's motto this year.
Yeah, it makes sense if you don't think about it, guys. But if you do this, we suck at 5-on-5. That's pretty much what he says.
I don't know if you know what having a man up means, but play worse.
We have a man. We have a power play. We have one more guy.
That was good, Kyle. I like that.
We stay on the perimeter and just pass it around, but don't shoot.
5-on-3, do even worse.
Yeah, my mom says we need to play nice. She said, "Oh, boys,
We
oh,
are
okay, boys, play
playing
nice."
We are playing nice.
Oh, this isn't. If you think this is not nice,
Hey, you
then-
guys don't have to leave the room and go out and see her face to face like I do.
Yeah. All right.
Just
so,
giving you the look.
ready
Oh,
again.
God.
The game.
She's
Oh,
got
look.
she's
She
got
has
the
the look.
capital look. It would be on the top 10 in America.
And I purposely tried to get the look.
Got to push some buttons.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's get into game recaps. Dad,
Yes, sir.
you take the lead because you have 4 games to talk about. We only have 3.
Okay, I don't want to talk long about the first game.
I don't think
Toronto came and just
I
ruined
really don't.
out.
I really don't want to talk about most of our games this week.
Well, to be honest on this game, I thought the Kings played a really good game. It got changed by one play. The whole thing got changed by one play, which video evidence actually proved that the Kings were right. I watched that 5 different angles. Matthews hit that puck with a high stick, meaning that goal shouldn't have counted. Yet they went through the video review, and I heard Eddie kind of explain it pretty well. It has to be clear that it was done. Well, it was clear. The puck, once the stick went by it, it started moving around. I
Okay.
go, what could be clearer?
What? Why? Right now? Why are you giving me the teacher from The Incredibles vibe? See, right there. I think not. That's the vibe you're giving me, right? See, video evidence right here. He touched the puck.
It's like from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia with the chart. But that's the word clear is such a subjective word, and Toronto loves to use it.
Well, it's funny, as a guy at work, the lead coordinator. I'm a lead courier. He's the lead coordinator. He says my mannerisms are like Nicolas Cage, and we have Teams. You know what Teams is?
Yeah.
You know, I keep getting videos of Nicolas Cage, all sorts of things. You know, like National Treasure, Gone in 30 Seconds, and then we're making little comments about it. Goes on and on and on. Well, the other day his hair was all puffed up, and I looked at him. He looked like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. So now I'm sending him Doc Brown, and then my supervisor sends me he wanted me to come see him in Teams, and it was The Rock. I really don't want to give him The Rock because I think that's kind of a compliment.
Right?
Anyways, let's get back to the game.
Yeah.
That was fun, by the way, guys. Thanks for that. Sometimes this ad lib stuff is just the funnest thing to do. Anyways, besides that, the Kings actually score first in this game and take a 1-0 lead. Alex Laferriere did just a full-on power drive to the net and a backhand beat the goalie, and the Kings were up 1-0 in the second period. And then to make it worse on that play, that was the Leafs were shorthanded when they scored the goal. And, it was Matthews that hits the puck and Matthews who scores the goal. So now it's 1-1. And then it just seems like the Kings couldn't get it together after that. They were fighting. Tavares had scored on the power play, another stupid penalty because we were in the penalty box way too much, to put them up 2-1. And then and these are all in the third period. And Tavares got an empty netter that somehow the sun got in Kopitar's eyes and he couldn't see where the puck was. And, then he, I think, fell down and Tavares gets it and scores. And so it's a 3-1 game. But the game was actually a much better played game than that. It really was, And I think, honestly, if that one play didn't happen, and I'm sure we all can complain about that. And I'm sure teams playing our teams could complain about that happens. Where officials, and Cody and I have been officials in sports many times. People think we're jobbing them. We didn't think we jobbed them, although a few times we did.
Hey. They don't know that.
Anyways, let's go to the 3 stars of the
There's
game.
players you know and you don't.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's gonna remember us now. It's been a while. So, Alex Laferriere was the 3rd star. I go with that. Matthews was the 2nd star with a goal and assist, and John Tavares was the 1st star with 2 goals. So let's move on to your first game, Cody.
All right. First game, I'm trying to find a picture to represent this first goal really bad. Because I want you to say if this is probably the worst way to play defense in the history of hockey. But the Ducks, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Kyler. So
Radko Gudas.
Oh God. So the first game of the week we're going to talk about was the Ducks hosted the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Ducks lose this one 3-2. And it was a great game overall, but it was just
Gudas lost it 3-2.
Yeah, it was Gudas was a -3 this game, and I believe all 3 goals was his guy too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So Max Domi got the scoring start in the first period. Let's see if I can screen share this thing because it just shows you how bad this defense was.
He made Max Domi look like Connor McDavid.
Yes, he did. Let's see if I can pull it up. This is thanks to the Fly Together Daily Instagram account. Tell me if this is a good way to play defense. You're 1-on-1. Max Domi right here has the puck right here, and he goes for a hip check.
That looks more like a butt check.
On the outside.
He's literally bending over and showing Max Domi literally bent Gudas over and showed him the 50 states. That's not how you play defense.
What no comment from your mom? Because she was bashing Gudas last night.
Well, and Gudas deserved it.
Well, I know he just hasn't played well, has he?
No,
this is it. He's going to be a UFA, right?
He has another.
He's got 1 year left.
He's got a year. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he still has 1 more year. Maybe. You never know what can happen. Yeah, we'll see how the off season goes.
But if the trade deadline's any pointer towards how the offseason goes, there's probably going to be 0 movement.
All I got to say is Thursday this next week, I hope he plays just like that.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
I hope he's the Gudas from last season on Thursday.
Just brings it. Lives up to the rivalry hype.
Mom says he was my rant this week.
Oh God, yes, she was. I mean, we're talking about something. Right. She goes, and Gudas. I go, you sound like Cody.
He's been so bad. So literally,
basically, all Ducks Twitter is just people like crying because he still has a year left.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a buyout this off season.
Yeah, you guys got
to. Sucks because he seems like he really likes it out here in SoCal too, and he was really vibing with the crowd. And there was like the report that he was injured, but it came back that was actually not true, that he's fine. So then I don't know what his excuse is.
That's literally what my mom put on Instagram Live. He's out hurt, isn't he? I'm like, no, there was 1 report, and then they came out, I think, a day later saying, no, he's not hurt. He's fine. And I believe the one that came out and said he was not hurt. I trust that source. Was it Derek Lee?
Derek Lee. Yeah, he works for the Hockey News, so you got to.
Yeah, so he's a good resource for Ducks.
He basically lives in the locker room.
Yeah, he literally does. Is he the one that
kind of get that credential?
Is he the one that Zegras pranked a couple weeks ago?
He was giving the worst answers ever, and he was just like, all right, he tried so hard.
Zegras couldn't keep a straight face after that. It was funny.
So I take it he's not Gudas.
No. That was such a cheesy joke.
I know. That's the whole idea. It's cheesy.
Kyle got it. Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gudis, yeah.
man.
That was the whole idea, Cody.
No, I know.
Gudis.
Gouda.
I know.
That's why I said there was a cheesy joke.
I know.
Okay,
Or you
just
could say
making
it was
sure.
It was
cheeky.
perfect.
I don't know. Sometimes things just. But all right,
Hey,
let's
I'm not Peanut today.
okay, good. You're not Peanut. All
No,
right.
I'm Walter. Watch
you're-
out.
Oh god.
Oh, boy. You want to bring out the
Uh,
jalapeno on a steak.
Nice sneak.
Oh,
All right, so Ducks are losing 1-0 after the first period. Then we go into the second period, and Mitch Marner gets his 23rd of the year. And guess who he beats on that goal? Racco Gudis. You got it right. That goal was unassisted, but Leo Carlsson scores less than a minute later and gets his 20th of the year, which we already kind of spoiled that in the news. We got assists from Zellweger and Gauthier on that goal. So now it's 2-1 Toronto after 2. And in the third period, Sam Colangelo gets his 7th goal on a power play. I didn't know the Ducks can get those. Did you know that,
They're
Kyle?
few and far between. It was
crazy.
It was really nice and happy, but also just got completely ruined right after.
Yeah. So we tied the game 2-2 on the power play goal. Zegras and Lacombe each had the assist on that Colangelo power play goal. And then I would say this was probably a really lucky tipping goal that Toronto got, because the puck was going, a good 3 feet wide, and Steven Lorentz tipped it with the middle of his stick, and it just happened to go perfectly right there. And let me, everyone in the comments, guess who was guarding Lorentz?
the cheesy
Give you 3
guy.
guesses.
The cheesy guy.
The cheesy guy.
Well, and
Yeah.
it was just, I mean, I guess on that one, it's kind of like, well, with how the shot was going so wide, I mean, he did swing at it. He tried to get his stick on it and he missed, and then it hit Lorentz's stick. But that tells me that that was something that they've been messing around with in practice or something for them to even attempt that. And he had to have known that he could try to at least redirect it with that, because that was the craziest, like, probably about, like you said, like 2 or 3 feet to the right, like at the goal line too. Like it wasn't like way up ahead or anything. So I don't know. It tells me that either that was something very fluky or something they've just been messing around with in practice.
Yeah, you get to, but people always tried, those teams usually always tried weird things in practice, because look what happened. They got a game-winning goal out of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we used to have the Lindholm special, where he would throw it down. I forget who the forward was that he would do it with, but they knew that you could bounce it off the Honda Center like a certain way.
Wasn't it with him and Raquel?
I think so. And he would send them, and it was him and Silverberg too, I think, a couple times after Raquel left. But
the Swedish connection.
yeah, they just send it down all the way, and they'd beat the icing, and it would bounce right there in front.
Yeah,
so just little things you learn about, trying to practice.
Because you hear almost every game from either Hazy or Allers that the Honda Center has the bouncy boards.
Yeah, the Zamboni bounce.
Yeah, the Zamboni bounce. You usually hear it almost every broadcast. The Ducks did outshoot Toronto this game 31-23, but the face-off percentage, I don't know how some people are like, oh, the face-offs don't matter. I'm like, but your team starts with the puck. You get possession. You I in my opinion, I think face-offs are a big thing. But the Ducks lose the face-off percentage 60-40%. But the Ducks did win the power play department against Toronto, which who would have thought? Toronto was 0 for 2 on the power play, and the Ducks were 1 for 4. Wow, it's weird seeing a 1 in that spot. Normally I see a 0.
Mm-hmm. But what I was shocked though with that game is they did not land any hits that game.
No,
Toronto completely dominated the hit counter.
5 hits.
Yeah. Ducks have been averaging 20 hits a game, and they only got 5 against the Maple Leafs, which they're a soft team for the most part.
Well, we would have had 6 hits if Radko actually would have hit Domi on that first goal, but
lined him up right.
But the Ducks lose the season series to Toronto, 2-0. Both games were 3-2 games, so at least we're competing against a top team like this. So that's always good. The 3 stars of the game, Chris Tanev was the number 3 star. He was great defensively. There was a few great plays he did make on the defensive end where it really stopped a Ducks offensive chance. And then Colangelo was the number 2 star with 1 goal, and Marner was the number 1 with 1 goal for 1 point. So that is it. Unless you have any other comments about this game, Kyle.
No, not really.
I know the next one. I think you and I are. I think after hearing your podcast, I think we're going to agree with some stuff on this next game for us.
The next two are a little difficult. They were interesting.
So
this is just a weird week.
Yeah, it was. But go for it, Dad. Your second game.
Well, that's you know what. We put a hurting on San Jose for you.
Well, it didn't really help much.
But we did put a hurt, because they whooped us the last time we played them there in San Jose 7-2, and they scored 5 goals in the third period, and we looked like crap. Well, we came out with a flurry. Deneau scored his 8th at the 5:35 mark from Byfield his 26th and Moore his 19th to put the Kings up 1-0. Then on the power play, Adrian Kempe got his 30th. From Kopitar his 40th and Doughty his 10th on a snapshot at the 15:13 mark. Now it's 2-0 Kings. And that's how it ended after the first period. But you pop into the second period, and we gave up a cheap goal to Cam Lund. And it made it 2-1 at the 4:52 mark. So now we're up 2-1, and Trevor Moore comes in, who's been playing much more like the Trevor Moore of last year here lately. He got his 16th from Kopitar his 41st and Kuzmenko his 17th at the 6:57 mark on a wrist shot to put the Kings up 3-1. Warren Foegele, we won that trade with the Oilers.
Trade.
It's that. Well, Jesse Cohen always says he thinks it was a trade, so I'm just gonna go with it. But he got his 21st, which that was at that time his most in a season. 21st from Clark, his 26th, and Byfield his 27th on the power play. Make it 4-1. Not to be outdone, Foegele got his 22nd 6 minutes later from Anderson his 14th and Doughty his 11th on a tip-in. Now it's 5-1. This is like the Foegele and Kempe show. Kempe got his 31st from Gavrikov his 22nd and Kuzmenko his 18th at the 1938 mark in the second period, and it's now 6-1 Kings. And we go to the third period. Our one trade pickup at the trade deadline, Kuzmenko got his 9th from Kopitar his 47th and Gavrikov his 23rd at the 14:49 mark on a wrist shot to put the Kings up 7-1. And this was just, we were carving up the shark and eating it for dinner. Trevor Lewis scored his 5th. Oh my gosh! If Trevor Lewis scores against you, it's really bad.
It's one of those.
I mean, because he's not I know when he got drafted, he was a super scorer, but he was a guy that wasn't going to make a team without changing his game, and he has definitely done that. He got his 5th from Morvarari his 6th, and Spence his 21st, 8-1. Kings whooped them 8-1. I'm not going to even go over all the other stuff because it was just all that it was a butt kicking. The 3 stars of the game, Foegele, who had 2 goals. Kempe was the 2nd star with 2 goals. And Andrei Kuzmenko was the number 1 star with a goal and 2 assists. On to your next game, Cody.
You guys could have got 10, huh?
I think they slowed it down because who wants to embarrass anybody?
Decided to pay the 3 pass rule.
Well, I think what the embarrassing thing is, you guys tied the season series with the Sharks.
Well, that's what the payback was, because we beat them 3-2 the first time we played them, and then we played like crap twice against them.
You won 3-2, you lost 4-2,
we lost 7.
Then you lost 7-2. I remember that one. I was laughing at that. and you guys won this, yeah. And you guys won 8-1. But yeah, you couldn't go after the 10, huh?
Yeah,
Would have got it in NHL. So
yeah, but so this game was definitely a roller coaster. I would say the Ducks played, I would say, really great the first period. Obviously, after I'm going to go over the goals. But Trevor Zegras got the scoring start in this one off a tip-in shot, his 10th of the season. Yeah, he finally hit the double-digit goal mark this season. Colangelo, only his second assist. That's crazy. Only his second assist. And then McTavish got his 26th of the season on a tip-in shot at the 2:04 mark in the first. And then Shakir Makula-Madulin, what a name. Makula-Madulin. He got his second of the season on a snapshot, tied it up at the 5:28 mark. And then Jackson Lacombe got his 14th of the season. Oh my God, on the power play? Back-to-back games with a power play goal. Sheesh.
Watch out.
I was not expecting, that was not on my bingo card.
And wait till we get to the Calgary game now.
Oh God. Zegras and
you know what?
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Zegras and McTavish with assist on that Lacombe power play goal. Now it's 2-1 Anaheim. And then Colangelo got his 8th of the season. He's really going for the Cy Young stats this season. Seems like he's McTavish and Gudis with the assist on that one. So it's 3-1 Anaheim after one. There was nothing in the second period, but I could tell you that whole second period was all San Jose. Like what
Ducks
Kyle
got
was saying,
very lucky.
very lucky. I believe we dodged a 5-on-3, and was it in the first or
that was
second
in the
period?
first.
That was in the first. Okay, I was like,
but we got a 5-on-3 in the third.
Yeah, but let's not talk about that. But yeah, the Ducks got just completely outplayed. Let's see if I can find the shots, or is it shots? Oh, it doesn't show me shots on the.
I think it was what 14-4.
Yeah, 14-4 in the second period alone. 14-4 against the second worst. I would say they're the second worst team in the league. I think Chicago's the worst, in my opinion. All around, like just like what you were saying earlier, Kyle. Like it was like I think whatever Cronin said, they just after Leo said we got that dog in each other, but those dogs had their tails between their legs in that second period. Even a lot of the third. But the third period was a better third period than the second. But we did give up 2 goals in the third period, which tied the game. Vlasic got his first of the season. Of course, someone gets their first season against the Ducks. So it's 3-2 Anaheim, and then Alexander Wenberg ties the game up 3-3. But I didn't know this until earlier this year. But Alexander Wenberg is very popular with the book talk girls. That's all I'm going to say.
Really?
Yeah, what? I guess there. So you know how they have like the romance books. Someone wrote a romance book about Alexander Wenberg, pretty much. And I was watching the game. I'm like, hey babe,
really?
I was like, yeah. I'm like, Wenberg just scored, and because she knows who Wenberg is, because she asked me. He's like, oh, the guy. He was like, oh, he plays in Seattle. And I was like scrolling through the roster. I'm like, oh, it must be. She's like, yeah, his name starts with like an A. So I was like, oh, Wenberg. She's like, yeah, that's him. So, and I was like, hey, babe, Wenberg scored. She's like, oh yeah. I'm like, no, he just tied the game. And she's like, oh no. I was like, no, bad. It was bad. So yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I didn't know there's a book about him.
Well, I wouldn't say it's about him, but it's like based on him, I guess.
Okay.
So
he influenced the character.
Yeah, he influenced there you go. That's better. Right. Thank you, Kyle. I'm not good with the words.
That's my brain just brings them out sometimes. I don't know. Yeah. It's weird.
But so we go into overtime. We get dominated in the third. The overtime was, I would say, 50-50 in overtime. I think the Ducks definitely had the better. The Ducks definitely had the better chances. Terry hit the post, of course.
And McTavish hits the pad.
Yeah, it hits the pad.
I think we go. Lacombe got one through at one point, or Zellweger, one of them.
One of them, yeah. So I would say it was a pretty good overtime, but nothing finishes in overtime. So we go into shootout.
Oh, it was Carlsson. Sorry. But Zegras did little between the leg back pass to him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. But we go into shootout. Trevor Zegras goes first. He was 3 for 3 this season, but he gets his first miss shootout of the season. And then Will Smith goes, and Dostal makes the save. Carlsson goes, and I think everyone knew what he was going to do. So even though it's a great move and all, but I think it was too obvious what he was going to do. So he got stopped. Celebrini went, and he got stopped. But Mason McTavish, what the nice little 5-hole move to put it in. That was just a great move all around. Great hands on that play. Really,
it was nasty. But real quick before we go, the Dostal save on Celebrini was pretty awesome because he poke checked him last minute. He didn't get the puck, but he got Celebrini's stick, and it just made it to where he lost handle of the puck, and the puck kept sliding, and he didn't recover it in time. So that was a nice move by Dostal.
I will admit, when he does do the poke check during those shootout moves, he's pretty good with it because he reads
it really well.
He does read it because he did that to Jack Hughes last season on that when Frusciano pushed the net. And I was like, and he poke checked but I was like, that was a great move by Dostal. Wow. And then Toffoli was up, former King, and Dostal shuts the door on that, and the Ducks win this one in a shootout 4-3. Here we go with the stats. The Ducks, I still don't get how they outshot the Sharks, but it was the shots were 37-31. Hey, we won the faceoffs 51-49. Oh my God, there's that one in the power play again. That's crazy. The Ducks were 1 for 4 again. The Sharks were 0 for 2. So the penalty kill's looking good the last couple games, at least. For once.
I think they had 22 hits. 22 or 24.
Right here, 24 hits, yes.
Yeah.
24
so 22
hits
against Calgary.
Yeah. The Ducks sweep the season series against the San Jose Sharks. The 3 stars of the game, Trevor Zegras with 1 goal and 1 assist for 2 points. William Eklund with 1 assist for 1 point. I don't know how that's a second star. But the number 1 star was Mason McTavish with 3 assists. A 3-assist night for Mac T over there. So the Ducks win the season series, sweep the San Jose Sharks. On to your next one. Sweep. I stole that one from the Locked On Angels. No, I'm not gonna lie. Sweep. They do it a lot better. I'm not gonna lie. They do it a lot better than me.
They got it locked on.
They got
it. See what you did there.
You were a poet and didn't know it.
Hey.
On to Tuesday's game against the Winnipeg Jets. President Cup leading Winnipeg Jets. First period, Trevor Morris gets his 17th on a tip in from Edmondson at the 8:28 mark to put the Kings up 1-0. And then Anze Kopitar gets his 19th from Kuzmenko, his 19th, and Kempe his 30th on a snapshot to put the Kings up in the first period 2-0. And I don't know if anybody's noticed, but Anze Kopitar, ever since Kuzmenko has come on, has been playing like he's 25 again.
He's definitely been giving him some confidence.
Well, European connection.
I gotta tell you, man, it's Kuzmenko. I'm loving that guy right now. He's just been incredible.
I knew it was a great low-key trade for like low risk, high reward kind of trade for the Kings.
Yeah, because if he didn't do anything at 3rd round pick, it's okay.
Yeah.
Right now, he would have been worth a 1st round pick the way he's played if he continues it, of course.
Conditional second.
There you go. Always negotiating, aren't you, Cody?
Always.
Always. He used to do that as a kid too. Always negotiating.
No, give me 5 cookies.
Oh God, cookies, yes. Cookies and Reese's and Butterfingers and Oreos. Always more. Always more.
There you go. Well, in the second period, Cole Perfetti got Winnipeg on the scoreboard with his 17th from Barron, his 7th on a snapshot. But Kuzmenko came in, got his 10th unassisted on a wrist shot. And after 2 periods, the Kings are up 3-1. Stayed that way until the 1905 mark, where Mr. Empty Netter, Adrian Kempe, got his 32nd from Kopitar's 43rd and Fogle his 21st to finish off the scoring 4-1 Kings. And all the stats were pretty even in this game. I just think the Kings put the puck in the net a little better than they did.
Wow,
because
each team only had 20 shots.
Only 20 shots.
Dang.
53% to 47. Winnipeg won that. Both of them were 0 for on the power play. Winnipeg 0 for 2, Kings 0 for 1. But the hits were 26 for Winnipeg, 19 Kings. Block shots, 20 Winnipeg, 17 Kings. Kings gave away 15. Winnipeg only gave away 9, and the takeaways were 3-2. Let's go to the 3 stars of the game. Which, how many times do you think in Winnipeg's thing where they don't have anybody as a star?
Right.
Not often.
Edmondson was the 3rd star with an assist. Kemper, obviously, the 2nd star, 950 save percentage, only giving up 1 goal. And Kuzmenko, again, the 1st star with a goal and an assist. So,
I will admit, with
it's the only game I lost on my predictions last
I think
week.
was I 3 for 3 on mine.
You were 3 for 3, and I was 3 for 3 and 1.
Even though I picked 2 losses for the Ducks, but I gotta come back. I know I'm probably not gonna catch up to you, Dad, on the record wise, but
I thought you were, because I lost like 11 straight games.
Oof.
I was crushing him, and was bragging about it. And boy, don't do that, Kyle.
It came back real quick.
It came back and haunted me.
Hey, Kyle, there was years ago. I want to say it was like our 1st or 2nd season doing fantasy hockey. It was like, because we play against each other week by week. So each week you have a new opponent. It was like late Thursday. My dad texted me. He's like, "Hey, you're beating me by 70 points. I'm surprised you're not talking crap." I'm like, "It's not over till." I didn't say anything. I'm like, "It's not over till it's over." Sure enough, the Ducks and Kings play each other for the last game on Sunday, and my dad was like, "What did you say? You wanted the Kings to win, but you kind of hope the Ducks player scores the goal." Well, sure enough, Rickard Rakell scores the game-winning goal, and the Ducks win. It was in overtime, and that point gave him a half a point over me, and he won by that goal, because it was a game-winning goal, a goal, because it was like extra points, and I lost by literally half a point because of that.
Oof.
And I didn't talk anything. I'm like, karma did not deserve to come at me like that. I was a good boy that week. I didn't talk any crap. But speaking of sweeping, though, you guys swept the Jets this year?
Did we really?
Yep. Wow. You guys won 4-1 on November 27th, 2-1 on January 10th, and then 4-1 on April 1st.
You guys might want them in the playoffs.
Yeah, seriously.
If they can get past the first round, though.
Well,
looks like they're playing the Wild now. I think that's a better matchup for the Jets, though. I think St. Louis would have been. I think St. Louis could have taken them in the first round.
I don't think St. Louis right now could take anybody they want. They've been playing great.
They're nasty. Well, it's the only thing I say that's because the President's Trophy curse. If they end up with the President's Trophy, they could be looking at some rough times in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, I remember in 2012, the President's Kings went against the President's Cup Trophy winner Vancouver Canucks in the first round and just waxed them.
Yep.
Well, you guys were hot. You guys were definitely the hottest team.
Yeah, and we barely were the 8th seed.
Barely
the 8th seed.
Wasn't that like they set like a bunch of playoff records that year because of that, right?
Yeah.
I think Quick had the best save percentage in all the playoffs.
I think every round they went up 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, gosh, then I mean the in 2014 they were down 0-3 to the Sharks and won 4 straight.
I thought weren't they down 0-3 every series or something that year in 2014?
No,
it was
Okay.
just
just
to the.
just against the Sharks.
It was, and the Sharks ruined it for the Ducks because Teemu Selanne was supposed to win the Stanley Cup with the Ducks that year, so he can go out in his retirement with the Stanley Cup. But
With a
no,
bang.
the Sharks had to choke on a King, and then the Kings come back super hot and just dominate. I was like, oh, I blame the Sharks. Okay.
I blame the Sharks for a lot of things.
Yeah. All right, so Kyle, you ready to talk about this game?
Oh my.
Oh,
Well, fun fact before we dive into this one. If you look at the last like 7 games for the Ducks, if Mason McTavish gets a point, the Ducks win. If not, the Ducks lose. And Mason got completely blanketed this game.
well, to be honest, every Duck pretty much got blanketed this game.
The flatness was just painful. The power play goals that we got the last 2 games, we got served right back to us with a shorty and a penalty kill give up. So
yeah, so the Ducks flame out against the Flames 4-1. Just an ugly game all around. There was really no momentum for the Ducks in this game at all, I would say.
the first 2 shifts, like the first 2, not 2 shifts, the first 2 seconds, they looked like they were going to be hot.
Yeah,
They got some good hits. They got right in the zone. They had like
I
4
want-
shots right off the hop.
four shots in the first like 10 seconds, and then sure enough, comes back the other way. And Nazem Kadri with this. Did you know he has 31 goals this year?
He's
Nazem
been
Kadri?
nasty.
Yeah.
One of
So
the worst moves that Toronto ever made.
Yeah, seriously. And I think Colorado not picking him up again.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, so Nazem Kadri gets his 31st of the year, 16 seconds in. I was like, I had to double check to make sure the Ducks weren't playing the Blues, because usually when the Ducks play the Blues, they give up a goal that quick. So, but I saw red, so I was like, oh, I'm like, oh, I guess we're not playing the Blues. I was flabbergasted on that one. But Olen Zellweger comes in 8 minutes later and scores his 7th of the year, with Strome and Terry with the assist on that one. So we're tied 1-1 after 1. And as Kyle said before, we had a power play, and Blake Coleman gets a shorthanded goal for his 14th of the year. So now it's 2-1 Anaheim. And then someone who I didn't even know was an NHLer, Kevin Rooney, gets his 5th of the season to make it 3-1 Calgary. And then Blake Coleman gets another goal, but this time on the other variety. His 15th of the season comes on the power play for the Flames. So now it's 4-1 Flames, and that's the final 4-1. It was just, ugh. My mom put on in the Instagram, we lost the whole game. And that's exactly why I picked the Flames to win this game, because this season the Ducks just look lost every time they play the Flames.
There's been a couple teams like that, like Blues, the Flames.
There was another one. I know what you're talking about.
It's like you knew they were gonna lose as soon as they stepped into the barn. Like,
yeah,
I'm drawing a blank on who it was, but there was a couple teams where it was like, I want to pray that the Ducks win, but you just know like there's something about the coaching on the other end that they just have the Ducks number, and you're like, I think it was the Capitals this year, but it was just, you're like, well, we're in for one this night.
Yeah. So the Ducks get outshot this game 34-27, 40-60 on the face-off percentage, 0 for 2, which should be more like -1 for 2 on the power play. And Calgary was 1 for 3 on the power play. Hits 28-14. But what good does that do us if we can't put the puck in the net?
Yeah. It seems like Cronin just wanted them to be physical, because like the previous games, like Toronto and the one before Toronto, their hit counts were pretty low, and then all of a sudden they've had +22, plus 28 on the last 2 games. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like he focuses on certain things, certain games, and like that's all he cares about.
Yeah, he wants us to go after the things that's not going to help us win. Well, it seems
Mhm.
like. But as of right now, the Ducks are 0 for 3 against Calgary this season. We still got one more game on April 9th. So hopefully we don't get as we
And it's home game.
And it is a home game.
Calgary can't win in Honda.
They did in the first game.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about it.
Come on, Cody.
Yeah. So as you can tell, the Ducks,
now you are being a dumbass.
Yeah. Tell Mom. But as you can tell, how
she's
bad.
listening. She heard.
I know. As you can tell, the Ducks, from how me and Kyle pretty much described this game, was just not all around good for the Ducks. So of course you're not going to see a single Duck in the 3 stars of the game. 3 stars was Wolf at number 3, Kadri at number 2, and Blake Coleman as the number 1 star.
Yeah.
So
all the credit to Wolf. He was playing pretty well because the chances Ducks did have were pretty decent shots, but
yeah,
he was standing tall.
He's played. I would say he's been the difference maker the last 2 games for sure. Because even in that, I would say not this last one, but the one before they lost in Calgary 4-1. The Ducks did play, I think, a little bit better, but Wolf really stood on his head on that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wolf's a California boy, right?
Is he a
I
California?
want to say so.
7th round pick, right? What happened, Ducks and Kings? You missed out on a California boy that might be the rookie of the year,
right?
So, actually, all right, who's your? He's my pick for Calder. If Flames get in, he's my pick.
If they make the playoffs, it definitely would be the pick, I think. I mean, Celebrini's been good, but I mean, Hudson's
You're on a
been
losing
pretty
team.
good.
I would go with Lane Hudson especially as a defenseman with how many points he's been putting up, and Canadians were like absolutely out of it last year, and now they're in that playoff spot. So I think Lane Hudson would take it just from exposure status.
Yeah. East Coast,
but it would be nice to see a goalie take it for once.
Yeah. But if you just look at, I was looking at Money Puck earlier. Goals for Calgary is second worst with 119 goals for, and goals against. I think they have the 4th best goals against.
Yeah,
and as we all know, it's not Dan Vladar doing that.
Big save, Dan.
No, he's no big saves there. It's just crazy.
You mentioned when you talk about the power play, like it should be -1 for the Ducks. Have you seen the new rule at the PWHL for shorthanded goals?
Yeah, if they score, the penalty's over.
Yeah, it's a breakout, they call it, or jailbreak.
So we during last offseason, we did, if we were commissioner, what rules or what will we change for the game? And I believe that was one of our picks.
It's a pretty sweet rule, and it seems to work out well, and it gives you a little bit more initiative to play stronger on the penalty kill.
But speaking of the Ducks penalty kill, like I've noticed that it's been a lot better other than the Flames game. But I think I know why it's been a little bit better, because they got Terry and Leo Carlsson out there now on the PK.
Terry is just he's my vote for captain of the team, just with how solid he is. Like McTavish has like the attention and everything, and then Lacombe, he's having a flashy year. But overall, the way that Terry's been playing his whole career, and just how like he's such a 200-foot player, and like watching him is such a good way to learn how to play hockey.
Yeah. If it's not Terry, and I know I hate to say it, but you could tell the way he is on the bench and the way he talks. I think Zegers would be a good captain too, because he's always talking, but he's also helping everyone with their game at the same time. So I see a little captain. I know it's like a far-fetched kind of thing, but with him and
the media would eat him up.
Yeah, but like I think that would also be a good way to shut up the media at the same time, making him captain. Maybe no more trade rumors.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but all right, so Dad, you can go with your last game of the week.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna forget that game.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
move
what,
on
you
then.
wanna talk about Utah?
Well, I'll do it quick because we can move on because this game was Utah dominated them. 25 shots in 2 periods to 10.
Wow.
And the Kings only outshot them in the third period 10-5. So it was 30 shots to 20. Real quick, Kempe scores his 33rd from Kuzmenko and Doughty, put the Kings up 1-0. Then Krause scores his 11th for Utah from Doan and McBain to tie the game in the second period. And then we went to the third period, and the third period was all Kings. Fiala scored unassisted, his 29th, to put it 2-1. Moore, his 18th from Deneau, his 32nd to make it 3-1. And then Drew Doughty, the empty netter from Byfield, and that was on face-off, talking about the importance of face-off. But you know why people say it's not important? Because the analytics don't prove it out according to analytics. I disagree with you, Cody. I mean, I disagree and agree with you. I disagree with the analytics. I think it makes a difference. If you can have possession, they can't score on you if you have possession.
Mm-hmm.
So the 3 stars of the game real quick. Krause was the 3rd star with a goal. Fiala the 2nd star with a goal. And the 1st star of the game was Kemper, who had a .933 save percentage and gave up 2 goals. So now
Utah's definitely one of those teams that played themselves out of a playoff spot. They had every opportunity to go and win and get into that wild card spot, and they just kind of gave up games they shouldn't have. And I was kind of rooting for them to enter because it just with how crappy Arizona treated them, and those players deserve a lot better. But I definitely see a lot of building coming from that team for next year. They're going to be one of the scary ones next year.
Well, yeah, they had a crap load of draft picks, and they've hit on a lot of them, and they were smart. They got Jersey, although unfortunately he was out for 2 or 3 months with an injury, and that
Sergachev was the main trade that really helped.
Both of them being out actually really hurt them. So injuries were part of that, I think. But I think they have a solid future.
Yeah.
I feel like how you described Utah was like how Detroit is in the East. They had everything. They had the 2 7-game win streaks and everything, and then just now they're third. They're not even the next team in for the wild card.
I was really hoping Columbus would get in there. There's still a little bit of hope, but they were having such a just divine season, and then it just after that stadium series, it kind of went. Meow.
Yeah, seriously. All right, so we finally finished the game recap. So let's move on to Player of the Week. Dad, you go first with your Kings.
Well, for the second week in a row, it's Andrei Kuzmenko. This time I spelled it right. It autocorrects to Andrew. No, it autocorrects to Andrew. He had 2 goals and 4 assists and was a +5 in 4 games. And he's making Kopitar a better player.
Yeah, your pick is like the face. I'm shocked that you picked Kuzmenko. Oops.
He had the most points.
Yeah, no, he's looked good.
The only one that was, I think Kopitar was a +6, but I think he only had 4 points.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kyle, who would your Ducks of the Week be?
Honestly, my Duck of the Week, I mean, McTavish was setting the bar pretty well, but I would say Colangelo, because the way he's come back and he's gotten points, and he had that injury that he was dealing with, fought through it. Now he's coming back, and he didn't really take a step back. And I really like the setup that they have with Zegras, him, and McTavish. I would go with Colangelo for the Player of the Week.
I don't disagree with that. But I will. My pick was McTavish, though. He had the 3 assist game. I don't know. And when he is on, it's crazy how good he looks. I just wish he can handle the one thing I wish I think he needs to work on in the offseason is how to handle a pass so he can get that one-timer and shot off a little quicker. Because I
Yeah.
can only imagine how many more goals or assists he would have if he could just handle that pass.
Well, speaking of face-off being important or not, when he's dominant in the face-offs, the Ducks usually end up with winning as well. So like that's why I did a little segment saying like he's kind of the pulse of the team right now. Like when he's good, the team's good. When he's not playing well, the team's not playing well. Like I think he only had 28% or 30% of his face-offs won against Calgary. And then against San Jose, he was down in like the 30s, I think, as well. So, but then before that, he was up at like 70%. Not Toronto, but the game before. So it's like he has really good days, and then he's kind of just in his body language. That's one thing that drives me nuts about McTavish, is his body language. He's one of those guys that like he's very like without being animated, he's very animated. Like you can just kind of see when he's like like just dogging it versus when he's actually like in the zone and playing really well.
Yeah. I agreed 100%. Are we ready to move on to predictions?
Sure. Want me
All
to
right,
go first?
Yep.
I'll be quick. Today, against Edmonton, I have us beating Edmonton 4-2.
I wouldn't be shocked because Draisaitl's out again.
And McDavid's out.
They've been hurting.
But then again, I wouldn't be shocked if we play down to them. So, but I'm going to predict a victory. Monday, we play Seattle. I predict that we'll beat Seattle 5-2. And then on Thursday, this will be the interesting one because we both got to make predictions on this. I have us beating the Quackers 5-2.
How dare you?
The Quackers. You're crackers.
Yeah, I know I'm Quackers. First admit it. I'm nuts. So
okay.
Okay, Cody, now your turn. You got 4 games this year. Or
this year. Oh wow.
This week. Well, that's about all you won.
Yeah. Okay. So the on today the Ducks are in Vancouver. Oh, this is a tough one. How do I want to go with this? I'm gonna go with a 4-2 win in Vancouver. What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, they've been a little back and forth. The Ducks are down 2 to Vancouver, or actually they're up 2, down 2. So in the last game, they've both been like not really. I don't know. It's been an interesting one. I'm gonna go with a 3-2 OT winner for Anaheim.
Okay. All right. Next game we have the Ducks come back home and host the Edmonton Oilers on Monday. I'm gonna go with a 4-2 loss this time.
Ooh. So you think the Edmonton's gonna even up the series?
Yeah. I feel like Edmonton's another one of those teams that the Ducks just, and I know even though that like Draisaitl and McDavid are probably going to be out for that game, but I still feel like there's going to be something. The Ducks just usually play down, especially with stuff like that. So I feel like the Ducks are going to lose that one 4-2, and somehow Skinner's going to look good in that game. Somehow.
Well, looking at the last 3 games, the first game Anaheim blew them out. It's like 7-2 or 7-1, something like that. Then they lost 3-2. Then they won 6-3. So I'm gonna go with a 5-3 win for Anaheim. We get chicken.
We get chicken. I'm not hating it.
No, I'm not either.
you get the free chicken too, so you might as well root for us. And we get to take LA out or Edmonton down.
Then on Wednesday we play at home against Calgary. Oh, you know what? Because I don't want to get
4-1 loss.
No. See, do they play a game the day before or anything like that?
Yeah. Well, no, it's back to LA.
For us, I meant for Calgary though, because if we get Dan Vladar, we may have a chance.
I looked at I think they play Seattle right before.
Because this is like the game I want to like. Let's see.
Or not Seattle. That's LA that plays Seattle. I forgot. I just looked at it.
Let's see. Calgary. No, they play against San Jose in San Jose, have a day off, and then they play us that Wednesday. This Wednesday. So you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna say, because I don't want us to get swept. I'm gonna say a 3-2 win. Because I don't want us to get swept.
I like the confidence.
My mom agrees with you, Kyle, with the Oilers.
Yeah.
Yes. And then
we've been beating them pretty well this year.
Yeah. And then the freeway face-off on Thursday. The last freeway face-off of the season. It's what, 2-1 Kings right now, I believe. Should have been 2-1 Ducks, but what's his name stood on his head, that Portillo.
Well, and it was the beginning of the season when we lost the first two. It was like October and November.
Yeah, but it's in LA. That's another thing.
Yeah, and they got the best home record.
Yeah. I'm gonna go 4-3 loss. I'm gonna say it.
Okay. For us or the Kings lose?
For sadly, I'm gonna say for us. But also the last time I predicted a loss, we won. So
hey. Well, the only reason I would want Edmonton to beat us and then for us to beat LA is so that LA can lose home ice advantage and just get smacked by the Oilers in the first round. But I still
be nice now, Kyle. Be nice.
So I'm gonna go with the Ducks coming away with the 4-3 win. I'm gonna be opposite.
All right.
So you, Cody, you have
2 wins, 2 losses.
I got 3 wins, 1 loss.
You only have
Calgary's
losing to Calgary, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've lost them 4-1 twice now this season.
Calgary's not an easy team to play.
Especially if you're the Ducks.
But I just want the Ducks to have fun and just literally play spoiler the rest of the season and mess with everyone's playoffs positions.
There you go.
I don't think there's
keep Calgary out, keep Vancouver out.
I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be a spoiler. It makes it fun to watch.
No. So
you go and spoil it for everybody else.
And they got nothing to lose now, so it's like might as well go out there and enjoy yourselves.
All right, so let's do a quick playoff recap on who's in and who's gonna be out. For the Atlantic right now, Toronto has clinched, but they haven't clinched the division yet. So Toronto is number 1 in the Atlantic with 96 points in 75 games. Number 2, you have the Tampa Bay Lightning with 93 points in 75 games, and the Panthers just 1 point less, 92 in 75. Wow. Yeah. And then Washington, who already clinched as well, in 76 games, they have 107 points. And then Carolina, who clinched as well, it has 96 points in 75 games. And the New Jersey Devil have in 76 games have 87 points. So that's for sure in. And then in the wild card, you have Ottawa Senators in the wild card 1 spot with 86 points with 75 games. And then Montreal Canadiens are at the wild card 2 spot with 81 points in 75 games. The Rangers, Columbus, and Detroit. And I guess the Islanders are all kind of close. I would say the closest one is the Rangers. They have 79 points with 75 games. Columbus is next with 77 points in 74 games. And Detroit has 77 points in 75 games. And the Islanders have 75 games with 76 points.
Right at the cusp of not being able to make it.
Yeah, and I would say the Bruins are for sure out because they have lost 7 in a row. They're 0-9-1 in their last 10.
And they're last in the wild card.
And they're last in the conference.
Yes, they are.
Rough.
And I predicted Boston wouldn't be as good.
But not this
Not this
drastic.
bad.
Not that
this
bad though. That's true. Not that bad. Oh my, they
So
just
who-
bottomed out.
So I mean, I would say for sure the top 3 in each division. That's the only thing that's going to change is who's going to win the Atlantic, pretty much. So if I was Toronto, I would want to win the Atlantic because I do not want to face either Florida team.
Mm-hmm.
Who's
going to
in,
be a no.
Who's in for the wild card for the East?
I think it's
Well,
set.
I think Ottawa's definitely in.
Yeah, I think Ottawa's definitely in.
I think Montreal's going to lock it in because they've been playing really well. They've been winning a lot of games, and they have a pretty decent gap built between themselves and the rest of the pack to where I don't think the other teams are going to be able to win enough games, and they're not going to be able to lose enough games to lose that spot.
See, the only I think the Rangers could, because the Rangers do actually have the advantage if on the tiebreaker because they have more regulation wins. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, it's only wait, where is it? Yeah, 32-26 regulation wins.
Those are
Okay.
losses, Cody. They both have
No,
36.
No,
36.
regulation wins. Regulation wins is the first tiebreaker if teams are tied with points. And New York has the advantage on that.
Okay.
So yeah,
We'll go to the West now.
The West. So in the Central, each team in the Central has clinched. Winnipeg has 108 points with 76 games. Dallas has 104 points in 75 games. And the Avalanche have 98 points in 77 games. I think the only thing is, can Dallas come back and overtake Winnipeg? It's close.
Man, they got a game in hand too.
And they have a game in hand. So we'll see what happens. And then in the Pacific, right now, you have Vegas, who also clinched. They have 98 points in 75 games. Then the Kings have 95 points in 75 games. And Edmonton has 93 points with 75 games. So again, I think Vegas is probably going to go away with the Pacific again. Now it's just between who's going to get the home ice advantage between Kings and Oilers.
Yeah.
So
Oilers.
And then for the wild card one, you have the red hot St. Louis Blues with 91 points in 77 games. Then the Minnesota Wild with 89 points in 77 games. But right behind, I would say the only team that really has a chance is really the Calgary Flames with 84 points in 75 games. So there are 2 games in hand to both.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say to Minnesota. So could Minnesota be the team on the out?
They've been losing the last couple. Like they've been taking them to OT, but you can tell they're struggling a little bit. But I would like to see Minnesota make it over Calgary, just out of personal preference of teams I like and don't like.
better play too, I would say.
Yeah, and just the Wild kind of, I feel like they deserve it, and I just can never be a fan of the Flames.
They've been through, the Wild's been through a lot this season. It's, with Kaprizov out, then they had Eriksson out, then they have Brodin out, and is Kaprizov ever gonna come? Is he gonna come back soon? Because he was supposed to be back. What, I want to say, his timeline was already passed, I believe, when he was supposed to come back.
Well, I think he's skating.
He's skating. Okay.
Yeah. I think they might be doing the old keep him for playoffs.
Yeah. Right now, the Minnesota Wild and their last 10 are 4-4-2, and Calgary is 6-3-1 right now.
Yeah. And if you're Vegas, would you want Minnesota, St. Louis, or would you want Calgary?
If I was St. Louis?
No, if you're Vegas.
See, Vegas would get Vegas and St. Louis. and then Winnipeg and Minnesota. I don't know if I would want to play St. Louis at all.
Exactly. So I'm like rooting for Minnesota to get their act together and start taking it up because I wouldn't want to play them.
Of course,
And I'd
I
rather
actually
have a
rather
Pacific
see
team than
Vegas.
the
I rather see
Central.
Vegas get beat by St. Louis. So I rather keep that right there. Take out Vegas in round 1.
There you go.
Yeah, but
I just like to see the Pacific thrive.
Yeah,
Well, they're not just the Golden Knights. There's another name, but we can't say it because we get in trouble.
Well, my hometown team is an affiliate of them now with the Tahoe Night Monsters, so I have to be like, I'm a Nevadan at heart. And they're my son's favorite team, so I got to be nice.
nah.
No, that's okay.
All right, and then the last bit of news we have is the race for Gretzky, which really took a turn yesterday
Mm-hmm.
because
It
now
did.
he is officially tied with Gretzky with 894 goals. He's only 1 goal away. Spencer Knight last night was like, whew, thank God he didn't score that hat trick.
Yeah. Well,
So
you didn't want that empty net, though.
Yeah, which respect to that. And I was gonna say this earlier when we said that Ryan Leonard scored his first goal. That's because Ovechkin didn't want to go out during the empty netting. He straight up told Carberry he's like, I'm not breaking the record on empty netter, which respect to that.
we got them both tied at 894, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yep. So he's officially tied.
Okay,
and he did it in one less game than Gretzky did too.
Yep.
I've got a game for you guys to play. It's called Ovi or Gretzky.
Yes.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Who has the most even strength goals?
Gretzky.
Gretzky.
Okay, true. 560 to 498. Who has the most power play goals?
Ovechkin.
Ovechkin, yeah.
324 to 204. Again, correct. Shorthanded goals.
Gretzky.
Ooh, shorthanded. I'm gonna go Ovechkin on that.
Okay, well, you should have listened to Kyle.
Oh,
Gretzky 73, Ovechkin 5.
He's not a power penalty killer.
I didn't know. He could have been when he first came in, kind of, because he was a big hitter too. So I could see him being a somewhat decent penalty killer.
Two more questions. Penalty shot.
Ooh, I'm gonna say Ovechkin.
Okay, Kyle.
I want to lock it in with Ovechkin as well.
Both correct. 2-1. Who'd have thought that? Okay.
Well, they were saying that Gretzky was not a good penalty shot taker at all.
No, he wasn't. I remember because you guys were too young to watch him play.
He had the brain, not the hands.
Yeah.
How about empty netters?
I want to say Ovechkin.
Ovechkin does by third. I want to say 14 or 15 goals.
Oh, should have just said Ovechkin.
I did.
65-56. It was only 9.
Okay.
Kyle, you were 100%. Cody, you only missed 1.
Yeah.
Excellent job, guys.
Didn't know I was going to pull that on you, did you, Cody? First hat trick was on?
Yes, I know. Do you, Dad?
I don't.
Because they bring it up every time Washington plays the Ducks. His first hat trick was at the Honda Center. It was against
Jaguar.
Because Tom Wilson's first hat trick was against the Ducks. And then Protos's first hat trick was against the Ducks. So they bring it up every time. That's how I know.
Ovechkin's only hat trick against the Anaheim Ducks.
And I believe they won 3-2 in overtime.
It was OT.
Yeah.
And that was when it was 4-on-4 OT.
Yeah, but like I said, they bring it up every time.
Technically it was the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, not the Anaheim Ducks. So
I still wish they'd go back to the Mighty Ducks.
Oh God, yeah, I agree.
From my understanding, there's still a copyright issue with Disney. because they still own the franchise for the movies and the TV show. So that's why we had to like wait all these years to go back to the old school logo, and they had to change some of the things about it because technically Disney still owns that copyright and that trademark.
So that's the reason why
Oh.
they changed it from a mighty duck to because who's afraid of a duck?
Yeah, right. That's
But
literally in the movie.
a mighty duck, the flying V.
Well, and I don't know, the Samuelis at the time, they were like extremely excited about doing it. And I can't remember the GM's name at the time, but he was all about like, we needed to bring the fans are the ones who wanted it. Like they were like, it was all the fans who wanted it. The fans wanted the orange, the fans wanted the Web D. It was all for the fans. And I was like, I don't know what fans you were talking to, but it
nobody
wasn't
wanted the Web
anyone
D.
that I know.
Nobody. Everyone's like, whoa, the D looks like a duck foot. I'm like, oh, that's great. Bring back the Mighty Duck logo.
Yeah, please go back. And we finally did. And that it's the sales have been like through the roof for merchandise this year. And like the rebrand was really smart. I just wish they would have done like a blackout and not the pure orange.
Well, I think they're working on that. I believe because we don't have an alternate. So I would love to see. I don't know about a black jersey would look cool, but I would like to see an eggplant and jade third jersey.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the like junior Ducks jerseys that they came out with for like the AAA programs?
No, I haven't.
Those are what I was thinking the Ducks were going to go towards. They're freaking awesome. If you look, they should have the picture up. If you look up Junior Ducks new jerseys, they came out last year before the rebrand, and they're like a blackout with like the orange crest.
I've seen it. Okay, I know which one you're talking about.
So I just think you could do like the sweater, the home sweater, the same, but just literally swap the orange and black so like have an orange stripe and a all black sweater.
Let's see, where is it? I know the jersey you're talking about now. I can't find it right now. Let's see if maybe it's on their Junior Ducks website.
It's on the Junior Ducks Insta for sure.
Oh, on the Instagram.
Yeah, but it's probably way down there now that they've had it for about a year or two. But if for anyone listening, I absolutely recommend looking up those because those are really, really awesome.
Well, I think both teams' rebrands were better than what they had before, but I really think the Kings could have done more of the old school stuff in there a little bit, like the early 2000 uniforms were. I love those. Those look great. A little bit more color to them.
Yeah, definitely better than that weird shield that you guys had though forever. I like the new colors.
As what I call it, the home plate logo.
Yeah,
and it was funny because our friend Adam, he has season tickets to the Ontario Reign because he lives in that area. When I told him that it looks like a home, when he heard on the podcast when I said it looked like a home plate, he said he never realized it until I said it.
Well, all the other co-hosts other than you and Eddie, we all umpired at one time together.
Oh, okay.
Times.
Yeah.
A lot of mostly travel ball with Eric, because he didn't do high school out here.
No.
And you only did a few years of high school. So, but that's where we all know each other from. So the home plate. That's why home plate means a little bit more in case you.
Yeah, it's very. Know. You're staring at it for a few hours. You know what one looks like.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Someone sent me. I just don't know where it was. Someone sent me a trivia question for us. Oh, here I have one right here. Which 4 NHL logos have the full U.S. state in them?
Oh, I feel like I kind of answer this one, so I don't want to cheat.
All right, Dad, you tell me if you can guess. There's 4 of them.
Have the whole state in there?
In the logo.
The name.
The name. Like the name is spelled out on the main logo. There's another one.
I have
But
no idea.
the one
I
that
have no
the one they
idea.
say is kind of a lie because it's not a state.
Actually, it is just not that state.
It's a district technically.
But it is technically a state, just not that state. So it's like, yeah, I was gonna give that hint. Don't look it up, Dad. I see you cheating.
I'm cheating. I don't
look
know.
down.
I wouldn't know. I'm not into the logo.
Okay, one of them is an original 6 team.
We were talking about them possibly making the playoffs.
Yes,
Possibly Rangers.
Rangers. They just won the Stanley Cup last year.
Florida.
Ovechkin plays for this team.
Oh
Ever heard
God,
of
who could that be? Washington Capitals.
Yeah,
Make it easy for the old man.
That's the one that Kyle was saying. Like, it's a district, but it's technically a state at the same time, just not that state.
Yeah,
And the other one is a brand new team.
brand new team. Seattle?
No,
Brand
it's
new,
literally their
like
own
this
team.
season.
Oh, Utah.
Yeah.
Literally their name.
Yeah.
Well, they're not
There was
really a brand new team. They just moved. That's what threw me off.
No, they're a brand new team. This is
No, but
yes.
all the players were Arizona players. the year
Yes,
before.
but we're not talking about players. We're talking about teams.
It is a weird caveat that they're like not an expansion team, but they are. Because the Arizona Coyotes still technically can come back
Yes, technically. There
if
was
they get
another
an
one.
ownership group that
But
cares.
that was thanks to Mom. She sent me another one. I just can't find it. I don't know why.
We've been
but
on
is
a
it
couple hours, so
Yeah. So, and I'm the one that gets to edit this, so this should
Yeah.
be fun.
Editing.
well, Kyle, it's fun to put a face with the voice,
Thank you.
and I totally enjoyed it today. I mean, I think we've been blessed for 2 weeks to have 2 great guest hosts on our
Yes.
podcast, and we thank you for that.
Thank you for
So
having
much.
us, and it's fun to hang out with you guys. And I was really excited for him to ask for me to come back over and spread the Ducks love and take on this Kings fan that he's got as a father.
Yeah, well, it's all in love. You know.
Exactly. It's all about the game, right?
We never get nasty where it hurts too much.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Comes close sometimes.
We're
not
a fine
Philadelphia.
line. Ooh, yeah.
We don't burn our cities down.
True.
Wins or loses.
Yeah.
They burn their city down.
I mean, I love hockey, but it's still a game.
Yeah.
Exactly. The best one, though.
It is the best one.
Yeah. So
Agreed.
So Kyle, tell our listeners where they can find you at.
Absolutely. So I am the host of the Locked On Anaheim Ducks show. We have post every day, Monday through Friday, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, wherever you listen to podcasts, or if you want to watch my ugly mug, you can check it out on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe. We're trying to grow and get the product out there more, and just get the Anaheim fan base bigger and more connected.
Amen to that.
And it's a great podcast. You do a great job, Kyle. Even though I'm a Kings fan, I do appreciate what you do. So, I mean, because we all do love hockey. That's number
Absolutely.
one. So,
And just
thank
so
you,
guys
and I
know,
love your
I am
concept.
I'm a locked on every dayer, of course.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, me too. Locked on every day.
every
Of course,
day.
That's what
32
we like
thoughts.
it. Our everydayers
32
are our besties.
Yeah.
32 Thoughts gets in there too.
32 Thoughts, Fit and Chicklets. That's just the Pocky world needs to grow. It's the more people that it can connect and reach. Like, I think we're starting to take NBA fans. We're starting to
Yeah.
take football fans, like especially the younger generation, with how fast and dialed in the game is. Like, you cannot just sit there and get bored during a hockey game, because there's just it keeps going and keeps going. And then going to see it in live, it's just the more we can grow the sport, the more we can. It just helps everyone, and it's the world's better for it.
It
Oh,
definitely true.
amen. It was like that that one guy you sent me on Instagram. What was it, Trailer, or what was his name?
Oh yeah, the Trailer Park Sports Network.
Yeah. Oh god,
He
he's so
just
funny, and
became a
he's
fan.
so yeah. He was talking about even Nate Thompson commented on one of his videos. Former Duck and King.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the guy knows his stuff pretty quickly for someone that's only been into the game for about a month or so. So
Yeah, he's got the bug. Like, it reminds me
yeah.
of when I first got really into hockey. Like, I had every game on. This is before ESPN Plus, so I was like trying to find the streams and stuff. It's like you got
Yeah.
every game. You're watching YouTube. You're watching everything just to get like more and more just understanding of it, because it is one of those sports. Once you really lock in the rules, no pun intended, you like it just makes the game that much more enticing, because you're like, wait, so they can't leave that blue line when they have it in there? Like, they have to keep it in, or they got it? Like, there's just little nuances, and you realize just how tight and fast the game really is.
Yeah, like I remember when we first started, I had a buddy of mine I used to work with. He would call me like, "Hey," he was watching the playoffs at home with his wife, and he's literally calling me like, "Hey, what's up with this?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm driving right now. I can't really look, but give me like 20 minutes and I'll call you back." And he's like, "Okay." And I looked up the play he was talking about, and so he was asking questions because he didn't know what was going on. And that's actually how we got the idea for our Hockey 101 episodes, was because of my friend. He kept calling me and asking me. I was like, you know what, screw this. Let's just make during the off season, we're going to do like a Hockey 101. So that way our new hockey fans can go and check out and listen to, so that way they know the game better.
Absolutely.
The
That's
biggest
awesome.
reason people don't become fans is, one, that puck is hard to follow.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get the hang, you got to spend some time, watch the games. So much action that should keep you riveted to the TV.
Yeah.
But once you start understanding how the game is played, it's easy to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Even without the little trailer on the puck that sometimes you get. I mean, that does help some people.
Yeah, but it was so bad at the same time.
I know.
But
It was a great attempt to try to get people to follow the puck.
It was, but we are.
Pro tip: watch where the players' heads are looking. You'll find the puck.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
If you follow the players, where 2 or 3 are going at the same spot, that's where the puck is.
Yeah.
Because if they're all looking around, that means they don't know where they're.
And we've seen that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Well,
before
thanks
we get
again
out of
for
here,
having me, guys.
Oh yeah, anytime. You can always text me and let me know. And
I'd love to have you on another time, Kyle. It's been fun. It just flows. It doesn't even seem like it's been that long.
Yeah.
No, I got to get you guys on another episode as well. It'd be nice to have you guys and just keep growing the community.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
Yep. But before we get out of here, we are part of the Elite Sports and Podcast, or Elite Sports and Entertainment Network. We have shows for all sports. The link tree is in the show notes. We have everything. We have an afternoon show that goes on daily. They talk about everyday news. That goes on at 11 a.m. Pacific time, but 2 p.m. Eastern time. And please, guys, go check us out on all social media at Royally Quacked. And again, we are on all audio networks: Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, you name it, we're on it at Royally Quacked. Go check us out. And all you listeners on YouTube or audio, go to YouTube and go subscribe. I know everyone has a YouTube account. Go and subscribe. Let's get the subscribers up. And you can, like I said, you can put a face to the names. So go on there, check us out. And Dad, I'll let you lead us out with the chant. Because I got Kyle here, so we got to go last.
Yeah, you guys can go second. I have no problem with it. It says it right there, right below my name. Go Kings, go!
Let's go
Oilers today.
Let's go Ducks! Fly together.
Fly together. We'll see you guys next week.
Father